Josh, welcome to Stevenage.
Thank you.
You've just been in the gym.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It's been an intense couple of days, you know, from playing Stevenage over the past sort of 3 seasons that the clubs have been at. Sort of not only are the teams that we played against were good technically, we always knew that there was going to be an absolute fight on the hands, especially playing against the Skip Pier P. So when I knew I was coming here, I knew I was sort of going to have to toe the line in terms of that intensity, and yeah, it's sort of met my expectations and more the first few days being here, so I've loved every bit of it.
You've answered one of my questions already.
Yeah.
When you've played against Stevenage, what do your gaffers say? You know, how do they prepare you to come up against?
No, so we'll say I was laughing with the boys in the canteen. I'm saying you look for 3 fixtures. First game of the season, who you're playing on Boxing Day, and then when's the first game against Stevenage. And that's just how it is. And I think there's no denying, obviously, the quality of player that Stevenage have in terms of an individual is easy to see, and that's been there over the past few years. But the biggest strength is the group and the group dynamic in terms of the direction everyone's going in, sort of from the management all the way down to the players. And that's what I've managed to see since I've come into here. So when we were setting up against Stevenage, and sort of when I was at Exeter, when I was at Wigan and at Hull, I played them in the Cup, it was just that you've got to prepare for physicality, because if you don't match that, you have no chance of winning the game. So being that style of team and sort of how I play myself, God willing, it's a match made. You know, I'll be able to sort of fit in well, and hopefully I can bring my attributes to the team and be successful. But more importantly, I'm in a team that players can hopefully bring out the best of me, because I won't be able to succeed without my teammates.
Let's look at your career.
Yeah.
You started out as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I did.
And morphed into a number 9. How did that come about?
I think I'm probably a goalkeeper 15 years too early, because the way I was playing in academy football back then is sort of how the goalkeepers are playing now. But there's a funny old story. We always used to say I could do everything bar catch it. But yeah, we used to do small-sided games, and I used to shoot, and then I used to run out with the ball. I used to do everything bar trying to be a conventional goalkeeper. And then my academy manager at the time, Neil Ardley, and then the first team goalkeeper coach, Martin Marginson, he ended up saying, listen, it's not going to work. The level of me trying to get to where they were and trying to catch Kasper Schmeichel and Neil Alexander and these types of boys, Tom Heaton, I was never going to do it. So the other avenue was to try be a striker. So I signed as a goalkeeper. They told me that my first year in Christmas time. I went away on my Christmas break, came back as a striker, and everyone was like, what's going on here? Everyone thought that was taking the mick, and then I managed to change. And I always remember what my academy manager said to me. He said, listen, we don't need you to be a polished diamond, you just need to show us something we can work with. And I managed to do that, and then I managed to sign a pro at Cardiff. Stayed there for 3 years, and then I moved on to Aberdeen, and that was been me ever since. So yeah.
Played for some big managers, haven't you, in your career? Who was a big influence on your career?
Yeah, the biggest influence I've obviously had is Michael O'Neill. You know, ever since I've been a part of the Northern Ireland squad, and even when he took a step away to play for Stoke, not only has he sort of helped me and guided me sort of international career, but someone I always respect and speak to on a daily basis. Had the great Craig Brown as well at Aberdeen, and Archie Knox, the school of Knox we used to call him. So that was sort of another intense management group, but they were brilliant for me. You know, they ended up playing right back half that season just to get in the team, and it was amazing. And then I really liked Gary Caldwell last year at Exeter. He was good. His coaching style and his man management, and sort of how he dealt with me being a senior pro was brilliant. So yeah, I've always been fortunate. I've never fallen out with a manager. I don't intend to. That's not my style. So I've always had a great career, and I'm fond of everyone, but those ones would probably stand out the most.
You say you look out for 3 fixtures. Stevenage do the same.
Yeah.
When's Exeter away? Because we never win there.
No,
so
I know.
You must have done your homework well on Stevenage.
No, I did, honestly, 100%. Yeah, and listen, obviously, unfortunately, last year Exeter went down, so that's not a fixture that'll be happening this season. But you never know in the season after. But Devon is for me, it was a beautiful place to live. Unfortunately, we just managed not to stay up with a multitude of things that happened throughout the season. But yeah, when coming down there, we sort of tried to make it a fortress as trying to do it at Borough. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a scary fixture, a home game and away game last season for us, but we managed to come away with 4 points. But what does it matter? Stevenage finished in the playoffs, so they got the spoils.
Going back to Northern Ireland,
yeah.
Jamie Reid.
Yeah, yeah.
You know him well.
Yeah.
How'd you get on with Jamie?
Yeah, we laugh and joke. We like the B-Tech, York and Cole, do you know what I mean? But we get on really, really well. I think he enjoys sometimes my loudness, and I enjoy that he just lets me be loud. You know, I like his silence, and we get along really well. And listen, that was probably one of the best things that we sort of have about Northern Ireland. And to be fair here, that when you come to the group, there's no there's no you have to have bedding in period. There's no people sitting on their own at dinner. There's none of that type of stuff. Once you're in the door, you're part of the group, and we managed to do that. Not only myself, but obviously George Saville, and me and Reedy are quite close. We always talk before we meet up. We look forward to meeting up, and we have a laugh and we have a joke, and we spend a lot of time together with Northern Ireland. So yeah, he's someone I'm very fond of, and hopefully a good relationship going forward.
You know, he's got Jordan Roberts here, so there might be
he does, yeah. So I was like, listen, I said, you just don't need to get jealous, it'll be fine. Like if we're third wheeling, I'll sit the furthest away in the coffee table and that type of stuff, and I'll not sit in between you at lunch. But no, they've got a real strong bond, but no, it's good, so it'll be good to mix with everybody.
We were chatting to the gaffer earlier, and he did warn us to be quite noisy, and he can hear you from the gates. And
yeah, he can.
Has that always been a big part of your game?
Yeah, listen, to play in this type of environment. So someone once told me, you know, football is about dealing with disappointments, and if you stay in the game long enough, you get a few highs. So you've got to be thick-skinned, whether that's you're in the best form of your life or the worst form. And I've been through both, and living up to the expectations. So as much as you try and take everything serious, and of course we do, because it's a results-based business, you have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to create an environment of your place of work where you enjoy coming to, and I've managed to not just myself be able to do that, but also with the teammates that I've bounced off. So yeah, talking rubbish comes easy to me, as you can tell in this interview. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's okay.
How did it come about? As Stevenage, you know, relegated side, you're a League One footballer, you want to stay in League One. There were other clubs interested. Yeah. Geographically, it's a long way from Exeter.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, the good thing about it was I was based myself down in Exeter. My wife and two children, they were based in Manchester. So I was saying before, Gary Caldwell, he was from the Manchester area, and he was great with me in terms of my commute and when I had to be in, and trusted me to do stuff away from the training ground when it needed to be, and just to stay fit. But sort of, I've known the gaffer since I first come to England. My first game for for Charlton, when I came down from Scotland again, was against the gaffer's team, and he actually scored at the Valley. So we always played against each other, and then he moved into coaching under Steve Evans. So he was always coaching the teams against the teams I was playing for. And then he moved into management, and that was the case. And sort of how I play and his teams played, I was fortunate enough always to put on a good show, whether it was me scoring or assisting or just trying to cause as much havoc as possible. So it came around tried to happen in January, but just with the timing of it, it didn't work. And then I said to my agent and representation, I said, if Stevenage come calling again, it's the only place I really want to go, as long as we can make it work logistically and it works for everyone. And we managed to credit to Leon and the gaffer for getting the deal done, and I'm just delighted to be here.
You said Alex Ravel scored against your side?
He did, yeah, he scored against Charlton. I'm not too sure if it was for Rotherham or he was at Leyton Orient, but it was one of the two, yeah. Absolute classic header whipped in.
And that's what you've just said there about coming to Stevenage is exactly what the gaffer wants to hear, you know. The budget might not be the biggest in this division, but that's what he wants to hear from his players.
No, 100%. And it's going to sound, and I don't mean this to sound vain or anything, but I've had the career that I've had has put me in a position at this stage of my career where I'm fortunate to be able to pick the clubs I want to go to rather than just chasing the dollar. I don't want to be one of those players. I want to go to where I was valued. And as soon as I spoke to the gaffer and as soon as I met with the gaffer, I told my wife and I told my representation, I said, I want to go to Stevenage. My wife's been brilliant ever since we've been together 15 years, and she knows that you only get one opportunity to play football. Once it's done, it's done. So I don't want to leave no stone unturned. And after seeing what the gaffer had to offer, what I could offer the team, what the team could offer me, and the demands he's putting on us, I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this, because finished outside the playoffs 2 years ago, finished in the playoffs. And it's just trying to sort of have those small 1%, those increments every season. And with the squad we've assembled, we managed to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm buzzing to be a part of it.
And you must have known it was going to be tough. You know, the reputation is there, and you didn't shy away from that. No,
you can't shy away from that. You know, I think in terms of your comfort zone, you have to go out of your comfort zone to grow. Like, just because I'm 35 and like played amount of games in senior international, I'm no way am I a polished stone. That's not what I see myself as. I always want to learn, I always want to keep learning, always want to progress, whether that's seeing the game from a different type of formation or style. That's the way I am. And when the gaffer told me what he expects, not just of me but the group, in terms of how we are on the pitch, how we carry ourselves around the town, in the community, are we at the club, I was like, yeah, that sounds exactly how I want to play and how I want to be treated and how I want to treat people. So the football side was easy for me, and everything else was absolutely fantastic. So coming here with the pressure on it, because, you know, I think obviously people think the pressures only come when you're losing games of football. That's not the case. When there's an expectation that's been set, especially at this football club, the pressure's even greater because you're expected to win football matches. So doing that this season is going to be tough, but we're well capable of. We've shown it last season.
And for those Stevenage fans that don't know about you, Josh, what sort of a striker are you? What's your best attributes?
Yeah, obviously, listen, all strikers are judged on scoring goals, and that's fantastic. I try and do that to the best of my ability. I've always been fortunate enough to score goals wherever I've been, but I think the type of striker I am, I like to bring other players into play, whether that's link-up play or throwing my body on the line, winning flick-ons and this type of thing. It's just being physical, being as physical as you can, and you keep going for as long as you can, whether you're substituted off or the referee blows his whistle. There's none of this walking around or feeling sorry for yourself. Someone once told me it's all gas, no brakes, so that's what I'll give it for as long as I'm on the pitch or whenever I'm needed.
Welcome to Stevenage, Josh.
Thanks very much.
Good luck for the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.